In this video, I'm gonna show you how to make the most out of the Canon 90D with 10 tips and tricks, and stick to the very end where I show you exactly what SD card you need to use to film on this camera. Tip number one is using image stabilization, especially for stuff like B-roll. I'm gonna show you first how to turn that on. If you go into the menu system and you go to the first tab on page 1, if you go down to Movie Digital IS, you can either enable, disable, or put it on enhanced. Now, when you have it on disabled, there's not gonna be any sort of stabilization in the camera. And also, to be clear, this is a digital stabilization. So this is not like an axis gimbal on the sensor like some cameras have with IBIS. This is digitally stabilizing the footage. So on disable, it's turned off and you're going to be able to use the full sensor. When you turn it on to enable, it is going to crop in just a little bit because it is digitally removing those jitters and shakes that you get when going handheld. So enable is the perfect run and gun setting for when you want a little bit of stabilization, but you don't want to get crazy. And when you want to get crazy, you can use enhanced, and you almost get like a gimbal type of shot, especially if you're shooting in slow motion and you have enhanced turned on. If you keep the camera still and do some really smooth movements, you're gonna get incredibly smooth footage using enhanced. Keep in mind that enhanced can cause some weird wobbling and stuff if you have someone walking because it will track onto the person. So I recommend using enhanced sparingly, and then for all other things where you want some image stabilization, I recommend using just the enable movie IS. The next trick is to use the 120 frames per second mode on this camera. And to do that, you go to movie record quality on the first tab and on the first page, and here at high frame rate, you can enable that. Now, if you want to go more in depth with slow motion, you can click on this card right here, watch some slow motion from this camera, as well as a full tutorial on how to get the best slow motion with the best settings by clicking that video. A trick on this camera that a lot of people don't know you can do is you can download picture profiles like CineStyle, as well as some other ones straight onto the camera that are going to give you a flatter picture profile. However, I recommend if you just bought this camera to stick to the standard, because you're going to get amazing colors straight into the camera. You don't have to worry about color grading. And so if you're starting out with this Canon camera, definitely start with standard. But the nice thing is that you have that flexibility to download CineStyle or some other picture profiles onto the camera. If you're a filmmaker or a videographer, then you can get some more dynamic range and then color grade in post. To go to your picture profiles, you go to tab 1 and then over to page 3. Mine's set to standard, and I actually like to change mine just a little bit. And so if you hit the info button, you're able to change some of these settings. And the only thing that I've done here is I changed the contrast down 2 notches so it's not as contrasty. Now, if you want a flatter picture profile without downloading CineStyle, you can mess with these settings by turning down the contrast and saturation, and you're going to be able to color grade that in post. But again, for most of us, the standard picture profile looks amazing. This video is sponsored by VidChops. VidChops is the best video editing service for YouTubers and digital marketers, and helps their clients make more videos and better videos through their flat rate video editing service. VidChops helps take the burden of editing totally off of your hands at a rate that video creators can afford. For as low as $295 a month, you can have up to 4 videos a month edited for you. And for $595 a month, you can send them as many videos as you'd like, and they will edit them for you. With VidChops, you can finally be consistent on YouTube without the stress of editing at an affordable price. Click the link in the description for our best current offer, and let's get back into the video. A really cool trick about this camera is you can connect your smartphone to this camera for an external wireless monitor. You do that by going to tab 3, page 1, and here you have all the settings to connect your smartphone. And so on Wi-Fi Bluetooth connection, you have 2 different options there. You can select, for me, iPhone, and then you're gonna be able to connect to this camera through the Wi-Fi and monitor your camera through your phone. This is perfect for maybe when your camera is out of reach and you need to be able to see that monitor a bit closer, or if you're filming yourself and the camera is maybe far away from you, you can pull up your phone, you can get a really good clear image of what your video is going to look like. So now I'm filming on the Canon 90D and I'm connected to my smartphone. And this makes it really easy because I'm kind of far away from the camera. So I can just look down, I make sure I'm in focus, and I can see that the eye autofocus is connected. I'm good to go. And this comes in handy more times than you'd think. A cool thing that Canon has added to the menu system is your own menu tab. So if you go all the way over to the right side, it's the 6th tab. You're gonna have some options here where you can put some of your favorite or most used settings, and it makes it really easy to access those all on one page. Instead of going through the entire menu system, you can choose your most used settings and put that on one page. On my page, I like to have things like white balance, picture style, eye detection autofocus, manual focus peaking settings, movie record quality, and time-lapse movie. And the nice thing is that you can add multiple pages. So maybe you want your first page to be settings for video. Maybe you want your second page to be settings for photos. You can do that. And the possibilities are really endless to customize exactly how you want your menu page to look like. The next tip for this camera is to download the 24 frames per second firmware update. When I first got this camera, it had 30 frames per second, but you cannot shoot in 24 frames per second, which is just weird. And it's frustrating because a lot of us filmmakers, a lot of us YouTubers like to shoot in 24 frames per second, but they've come out with a firmware update. And so now you can change that. And now I shoot my 4K, my HD videos all in 24 frames per second. And honestly, it was really easy downloading the update. All I had to do was go to the Canon website, which we are going to have linked in the description below. You're going to download the firmware update, and then on your formatted SD card, you're going to drag that firmware onto the SD card, put it into your camera in picture mode, and update your firmware. Now, I followed this video that I'll have linked in the description below, and it made it very simple, very easy to do. It maybe took 5 minutes. Now, if you've ever had issues with your audio while using a Canon DSLR camera, I know I have, and it is so frustrating. When I got my T3i way back in the day, I kept getting this hissing in my audio. The reason for that is that Canon boosts the audio signal inside the camera, and when it does that, it just totally ruins the audio. It gives you a loud hiss and it sounds really bad. The way around it is to get microphones that will boost the audio for you instead of the camera doing it. Our favorite mic is the Rode VideoMic NTG, but you can also get some cheaper mics, but if they have the plus 10 dB or plus 20 dB like the VideoMic Pro, those are some of the mics that are gonna work best on this camera. And the reason for that, which is the tip, to turn your preamps all the way down. And so we actually have a video all about that where you can follow along on a Canon camera and get the best audio for your videos. You just need to click the card right here and you can check out the full in-depth tutorial there. I have a bonus tip for you guys, and that is that the built-in microphone on this camera is not that bad. And so if you want to use that when vlogging, if you have a wide angle lens and you can keep that camera close enough to you, you're gonna get some really good audio. And this is what the mic sounds like going straight into the Canon 90D, the internal mics. It sounds pretty good. And if you're on a budget, this is a perfect way to go. So that's a little bonus tip. If you're ever in a pinch and you don't have a microphone, maybe you don't have the money to spend on a microphone, you can definitely use the built-in microphone. But I guess the tip is stay as close as you can to the camera. This camera shoots in 4K, which is nice for punching in and still getting some good quality videos if something's really far away and you need to crop in. But there is a feature on here. If you go into the menu and go to the first tab and the first page, you're gonna open the movie record quality again. Here we have 4K moving cropping. So typically you're gonna want it disabled, but when you want to enable this is if something's really far away and you want to get a little more zoomed in, if your lens can't zoom in far enough, you're gonna want to enable this. This is gonna punch in and still give you 4K video, which again, if you need to punch in more in post, you still can, but this gives you a lot more flexibility and makes your lenses and camera more versatile. We got a few more tips and tricks for you guys, but before we get to that, like this video if you learned something new and subscribe to the Think Media channel, and comment down below what is your favorite feature on the Canon 90D. If you have an older Canon DSLR camera and you wanted to do a time lapse, a lot of us videographers would just shoot a video and then speed it up. Now, that's not the best way to do it because it takes up a whole lot of space and it doesn't look the best. On this camera, there's a time-lapse movie recording feature. And so if you go into the menu, you go to tab 1, page 1, you can go down to time-lapse movie. And it's cool because there's a few options here. You can do a scene 1, which is shoot moving subjects such as walking people. Scene 2 is for like clouds moving, and then scene 3 would be for shooting slowly changing scenes. And so I'm just gonna do scene 1, and when you open that up, you get a whole bunch of different settings that you can change in here. For example, you can change the interval of how many times you want a picture to be taken. For this one, it's at 3 per second, but we're gonna change that to 2 seconds. And then you can change the number of shots, which will change the time of your time lapse of how long or short you want it to be. And so it kind of does the math for you, and it tells you that this one is going to be a 10-second clip, but it's gonna take you about 10 seconds to shoot it. So I'll hit OK. Now that I'm out of the menu, I'm gonna hit the shutter button, and that is going to start my time lapse. So it's recording and it is shooting my time lapse. The last tip I wanna share with you is that you need an SD card that's gonna be quick enough to be able to shoot 4K, high frame rates, these time lapses, all that stuff. You need the correct SD card. And when I first got started, I had a slow SD card, and when I hit record, it said movie stopped recording. I thought my camera was broken. It wasn't. I just needed a new SD card that was fast enough. Now on Canon's website, it says for the Canon 90D, you need a UHS speed class 3 or higher. So on this SD card that I recommend, which will be linked down below, you can see here a little symbol with, it looks almost as if there's a U and a 3 in the middle of it. And that right there shows you that it is UHS class 3 SD card. So this is going to be fast enough for all your recordings on this camera. Now we're just scratching the surface with the Canon 90D. There's a whole lot more to learn about this camera. And so we have some more videos on Think Media. You can click on the playlist and watch another Canon 90D video, and I'll see you next time.
Coming in, flex. I just wanna win, LA BB, who we running with, 2 2 3 3, I'm on 10 again, state your name, big dope on flame, I just switched the lane.